right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Crawler Theory podcast. All right, we're just going to check that all audio works. I believe, hopefully that's a thing. Looks good. Set up there. We just lost a video feed from our... Okay, now we're good. There we go. All right. Welcome to Crawler Theory, Episode 2. My name is Itsy Bitsy 30. We are delving into... delving into the second episode with our guest star, Smith Killa. We are going to be talking about a lot of amazing and awesome things, topics that I am passionate about today, one particular overarching theme. But we're getting some reverb here. I don't know if I need to mute my end. Okay, we're still figuring things out, but I think we should be good. Just let me know if I need to mute my end, Killa, through here. No, I don't need to mute my end through here. Okay.
We all good now? We all good? All
yes.
set to jump?
You're all set. Okay. So we're gonna be before we get started, I want a short little introduction done by our guest, Smith Killa. He's gonna introduce himself. We'll get dive right into the topic. Talk about for about 30 minutes, and then we'll have a little Q&A after where the topic and all the talking is done. Take some questions and all that good stuff as well. So like the previous episode as well, we're not going to be reading chat as much, not until the end, just so we could cover the topics that we need to and do all that good stuff. But we do want to take some Q&A questions and all that good stuff from you guys from chat after the episode is done. So Killa, take it away. Introduce yourself, how long you've been streaming gaming, how did you get into that, all that good stuff.
Hello. My name is Smith Killa. Everybody calls me Smitty. I stream Mondays and Fridays, 7:30-ish to 10 o'clock at night. So I've been streaming roughly for 9 months now. I haven't quite made it to my 1 year, which is coming up in September. So I guess it's been closer to 10 months now. So we're looking at a 10-month journey. I had a few buddies of mine that were like, hey, you have a voice for radio and a face to match. So why don't you please go ahead and start streaming? And it kind of launched my streaming career. Had a few buddies of mine saying, hey, we really like your voice. Let's go ahead and let's get you streaming. And so they sent me over, and I streamed for about 6 months onto Twitch here, and then I made a switch over to Kick, and we'll dive more into why I made the switch and all that good jazz. And but I'm excited to be here. Bitsy, we have a new friendship, and it's been growing phenomenally. Wonderful person, great host. Thank you for having me on, and much appreciated.
Of course, it's a pleasure. I'm glad that we get to do this together and have you on the show. You are not wrong. You do have a fantastic voice for radio. So that's one of the early on things that I noticed about the stream. Like really good stream looking, but I'm like, my God, I got to have this man on the show. His voice is impeccable.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna dive right into it. So today's topic is gonna be the Great Switch. I wish I had a title for the podcast, but it's probably called The Great Switch. Mostly talking about for those content creators that, if they haven't done so already, switched from Twitch to Kick. But we're not even going to be talking about just if you have made the switch. We're just going to be talking about pros and cons and the mentality behind why streamers should versus why stay on the platform that they're at, all that good stuff. So Your so like we're doing the podcast here on Twitch. Obviously, you said you stream all on Kick, as do I. But what was the motivating factor for you? What was the enticement, I guess you could say, as to, why do a plat or even consider doing a platform change, like in the first place, and what were the things that maybe you were disgruntled with, or the decisive factor behind why the platform change actually was a move that you made to Kick.
So excellent questions. My biggest reason for actually making the switch was the 95-5 split.
Mm-hmm.
That was the catalyst in which made me start looking at, hey, maybe there is something better out there.
Yep.
The other thing that really drove home for me was kind of a lot of the practices that Twitch was doing at the time, and pulling back what they are deeming their piece of the pie. And it kept on becoming more and more and more. And then on top of the just the some of the things that Kick was forcing onto the streamer and not letting them
Mm-hmm.
have the choice of doing, i.e., ads, right? Yeah, whether that is okay, if you want to run an ad around the actual frame,
Mm-hmm.
then you could do that. But that wasn't even a choice. It was either you run a full set of ads right out the gate so you don't have, the startup ads or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you from experience for me, that ads always seem to be very like pulling back, almost for the viewer, simply
Mm-hmm.
because like if you get hit with an ad right out the jump, and it depends on every streamer, right? Some
Right.
streamers, they do the 30-second ad, and then some streamers do the longer ads, so you don't have any in ads during stream. So it's one of those cut and dry. But I'm not waiting 10 minutes to watch
Right.
a bunch of ads
Right.
to start watching my streamer.
Right.
And yes, I can pay to get ad free, right? But I don't think that should be something that's necessary to pay to be ad free either. Like if you want to run ads around the outside of
Mm-hmm.
the actual entire screen,
Right.
you're more than welcome to do that. Now, my main with not only the 95-5 split and
Right.
then all the things that I talked about with Kick, the other big driving factor for me was that my community wasn't very large.
Mm-hmm.
So when I made the switch, I had about 110 or 115 people following me at the time on Twitch, which which is still small, and just freshly minted,
Yep.
affiliate status over here on Twitch. And then I made the switch over to Kick.
Mm-hmm.
And the the main reason that I seen the switch over to Kick was I seen a better potential of growth for myself and my channel and my
Right.
brand, more so than I did on Twitch. And the main reason is because with it being new and all of the excitement and buzz around Kick being the brand new platform and all
Right.
of that, everybody's going to want to flock to it and see
Yep.
what's going on and say, oh man. And with the lower amount of streamers on there, it's going to bring in a higher view account for you
Mm-hmm.
as that streamer, no matter
Right.
what category,
Right.
even if it's in
Right.
a saturated niche, right? So whether you're talking, Call of Duty, Apex, all the big three, right? Valorant, Fortnite, all the FPS titles,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
which is super saturated. Both you and I both know that,
They are
and
very.
it's hard to push into that and make it your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've done a fantastic job at that. And the big thing for me is just like it's just I wanted to move eventually away from that, but I saw an opportunity to say, "Hey, I'm not going to have to compete with 40 other million people
Right.
in
Right.
this one category.
Yep.
I can compete with a few thousand people instead." And so that was the big push factor for me, was more what's the term I'm looking for? Uh, discoverability, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that would be true. It's interesting when you said like taking your community over to a platform, to a brand new space and perhaps mentality, that it is one very daunting. Like I didn't take
Oh yes.
that decision like very lightly at all. However, I had no idea of the scape that we were looking at when it came to Kick as a whole. They came out, I think, last month with some numbers, and as far as accounts made in record time, I believe it was in like 3 months, it was like 10 million users. Whether that's accounts and streamers, like viewers for those streamers making accounts because they're following people, creators over, or what have you. But and a lot of that backing, I think, was laid by the groundwork from a previous platform, right? Twitch has been alive since 2011,
Yeah.
and their Kick came out with a stat. Twitch had, I believe, it took them 5 years to make 10 million accounts or whatever. But they're the ones that, without those 10 million accounts, all those transferal, to the new platform wouldn't really have happened. It was kind of laid down the groundwork, which I appreciated because it feels a lot more of a robust platform than just some small. I'm migrating to a site that, yes, I'm having bigger pay cuts, or payouts rather, and but it's still like a puny platform. No one knows about me. But I think it's actually on the contrary. Like it has expanded to a platform that is very noteworthy at this point in time.
Do
The
believe so.
the refinements, which we'll get to, actually, this is the next point that I'd like to make. The integrations and everything on that platform is way different and really almost non-existent, really, when it comes to bots and everything like that, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what are the struggles that you've seen and faced switching to the new platform, and what are the things that you miss from
Um,
Twitch?
integration really is,
Yep.
and choice of integration more than anything else. Integration alone to the platform itself, and
Mm-hmm.
saying, having bots that I can do. There's so many bots that you can use for Twitch and YouTube, both
Mm-hmm.
if you are on either one of those two platforms. But when it comes to the biggest reason that we, and honestly, if I don't know if anybody else knows this, but the biggest reason that Kick doesn't have as much integration is that they haven't released their official API
Mm.
over to everyone else, so they can actually start building that API on the
Right.
back end,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So that's where the stumble is. And there's still, this is one of the things that I don't like about Kick, is that while yes they are being transparent, the issue is that it is causing them to kind of use their beta status as
Mm-hmm.
a scapegoat, right?
Yep. Yep.
And it's getting. I'm not to a point that I'm going to leave the platform, because I have faith in the platform, and I do believe that the platform is going to be perfectly fine, and we're going to move and
Right.
grow and do the things that it needs to do.
Right.
Mainly because it was built on the same engine
Yeah.
and same structure as where we are now.
Yep.
So, like, all of the building blocks are there. They really just need to put them together and then brand them as their own without stealing intellectual properties.
Right.
I think that's
Correct.
their biggest struggle right now, is that
I think
they are
that's a lot of
trying to
people's
find
concern.
a
Yeah.
way to not steal intellectual properties.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That way it doesn't seem to, that way they don't get in trouble, right?
Right.
So my biggest thing is integration is horrible. I think you only
Right.
got like, one main bot, and it sometimes works.
Correct. Yeah.
Or sometimes it gets broken, or whatever the case is, or for some reason it stops, outputting on your side, but chat hears it.
Yep. Yep.
And there is, we are seeing a whole lot more integration. What is that? Blip, 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 bleep. think
Uh,
it is.
Blurp, I think,
Blurp.
isn't it? Yeah,
Blurp is,
Blurp.
is
Yeah.
coming through with integration
Yep.
as well. So I did just see that. And then Botrix is also upgrading some of their things. And I just seen on another streamer's stream the other
Mm-hmm.
day that you can now redeem some things through Botrix. And they kind of have like their own coin, their own
Okay.
little economy basically. I'm not sure, I didn't dive too deep into it, but
Okay.
it looks like Botrix is trying to improve on their connectability and their bot and all of that good jazz, which is good.
I imagine
But
the
we only
traffic
have
that they're
one.
experiencing is actually pretty up there, as far as
It's right there next to Kicks because
right.
it's the only bot that works
Correct. Yeah.
reliably enough that you can say I want to use this bot. The
And
rest of them,
yeah, that's very true.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I, they I personally use Luma for a lot of things,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, I've actually
But
started using that as well.
Luma, I come to find out, one of the engineers in Luma got a little carried away, and they got a little too overzealous, and
Okay.
they put in the subs, the follows, and the gifted
Okay.
subs alerts
Right.
when they weren't supposed to because they weren't ready
Oh, because I
yet.
was seeing updates for that like everywhere. Okay.
Correct. Now it may be there now. I'll have to check Luma
Okay.
and see. Things change on a day to day with how things are rapidly moving in this
Right.
space, especially with Kick, right? And
Right.
integration with Kick and all that. So like yesterday could be old news of not integrating, and it could have happened yesterday or the day before, and I
Yeah.
just didn't catch it. Because you know how it goes. Sometimes you don't get the latest feed
Oh yeah.
because the algorithms don't want you to know.
Uh-huh. That is all too true.
So
um
yeah, I mean that's my frustrations with Kick.
yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
laundry list of things that I would love to see integrated back with Kick.
Mhm.
I mean something to the nature of the bits or equivalent, i.e.
Mm.
Kicks,
That would be a cool feature,
a
yeah.
more robust clip system, a better VOD system, so you can either download, remove, or anything that you want to do with your VODs. A better integration to other bots that will
Mhm.
allow you to do other things and have other rewards and so on. Better engagement for the viewer, there was a sad part that they removed some parts of viewer engagement from chat,
Yeah.
because I know there was a while that you could like send out a little emote for a chat message, right? So you could
Mhm.
have like this little chat message that was
Right.
like you liked it, so you could literally just like it, and then you didn't have to go through and like reply and be like ha 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 so funny, I love it. You could literally just give it a heart or whatever the case is, right?
Right.
And you could be like easy peasy lemon
Yeah.
squeezy,
Yeah.
which allows chat to engage with other chat, which allows then a better community building while being entertained by the streamer,
Right.
since that's kind of our number one job, right? Our
Right.
number one job is to entertain you guys,
Mhm.
not necessarily to engage, because if you get to, and this is my also my theory, that if you get to a certain size you can't engage with chat
Oh, that's absolutely
all of
right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're nitpicking here, there, whatever you see on the screen first versus chats as they come in order. That's totally right. Yeah.
Even if it's a quote still small streamer and you have 30 people inside of your chat, and if
Mhm.
you're engaged and all 30 are engaging, there's no way you can keep up with 30 conversations
True. Yeah.
simultaneously,
Yep.
and keeping up with 30 people's lives simultaneously in that moment.
Yeah.
Like there's just
Oh, it's
people have limitations, right?
nearly impossible. Yeah. No,
It's nearly
absolutely.
impossible.
Um having talking about the switch over and pros and cons, and I feel like somewhere in the middle is a fine line of entrusting to your community that they like your content as a creator enough to follow you the distance over to a different platform altogether. Um, what have you found as is like um, in your streaming career thus far, the balance between, do people follow you as a creator? Do they follow the platform whether they like it or not, or needless to say, even if they don't like the platform, do they follow you for you or the platform, or like what have you found communicating with getting feelers out from your community is like people's motivational factor behind that?
So for me, the biggest thing is that I found that the people that have followed me from Twitch to Kick, those people are probably, they'll follow me if I went to the moon. It
Mm.
wouldn't matter
Mm-hmm.
where I was streaming, what I was streaming
Okay.
on. If I was
Okay.
streaming on a cardboard box, they would follow me over on a cardboard box. So like those people, I think that core, and it really is like three or four people, right? So like
Right. Right.
you're not talking, you're not going to have a big group there, and you never
Mm-hmm.
really will, but that's your tribe, right? That those are the
Right.
people that
Right.
you're going to be with you no matter what, right?
Yep.
Now, the other part of the community, some community members are brand loyal to Twitch and some are absolutely not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the people that are brand loyal to Twitch, I have no issues with. They like the platform, and I completely understand having to sign up for another platform
Right.
and download and have another account to take care of and this and that, and having another pay place that your card can get compromised and all this other business, right? And like I 100% understand every bit of that as well. Like
Right.
it's definitely one of those things that I think in my experience, you almost have communities separately
Mm-hmm.
in whatever platform that you are on. So like you will have your Twitch community, you have your Kick community, and
Right.
you have your YouTube community and or TikTok community and so on and so forth. Because each platform, in my opinion, offers something that is different than each and every other one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube offers a different experience and a different ideology than Kick and Twitch, and same with TikTok, right?
Right.
So
Right.
TikTok, they offer, their retention rate on TikTok is very short,
Yep.
right? So like
Absolutely.
in my opinion, going live on TikTok is good for discoverability, but it's not good for viewer retention, right?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Viewer retention to me would equate to Twitch, Kick, or YouTube, and YouTube being last, right? So Twitch and Kick would be what people want to come and say, hey, I'm going to watch this, start to finish, right? I
Right.
want to see this live in action. Now, I feel that YouTube is the place where people go, oh man, I missed it. I want to go watch that VOD. I want to go watch that series, and I want to see it from start to finish. I can
True.
pause it. I can come back later to it. I can, the freedom of being able to be mobile is what YouTube does for you.
Yep.
And it gives you that almost like that TV kind of style. Hey, I'm going to get this episode this many times every week or every so often or however the case is, right?
Yep. Yep.
And that's where I see that YouTube is really the bigger factor, right? For retention and return viewership on a series.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but for live interaction and live commentary, I think Twitch and Kick are 100% where it's at.
Yeah. I would definitely agree. Um I think that's what I have found as well. It definitely resonated when you said your tribe definitely follows you over because
Mhm.
that is the epitome of the kind of life force, driving force of the core group, the spine, as it were,
Right.
of your the backbone. That's what I was looking for of your community, and whatever foundation you lay with those people that are unwavering and following you, like you said, to the moon. If you know, I have to, then
Yeah, we'll call it
that's
Luma Stream. That's what we'll call it.
that's the one, Luma Stream. Yep, I love it. We'll brand it. But yeah, we'll. I mean, I've definitely found that as well with the Switch, and then of course there's the build on afterwards. You know, in addition, you find all these amazing people and friends, and you know, but I mean, you also find in the what we do, and I know that you know the people watching as well. There's so many creators in our communities as well, that people will ebb and flow, right? I have found that the core community doesn't really. Period. Like I'm so grateful that every time I hit that go live button, that there's like 10 to 15 people just waiting and ready to rock and roll with me. Right? Everything else is an addition, but you have the core foundation, boom, day in, day out. And I find that
Yes.
super intriguing. That's amazing. Um, and I know when we were prepping, we were talking about viewership, and how just like in general, no matter what platform, actually, there's like a subcategory of how like time zones and going live and notifications, all that good stuff, impacts like viewage. Have you switched up your times of like streaming on Kick based on like what you've seen? Well, I guess one from your schedule, but two also kind of like the different time zones that are throughout the country that you find higher viewage in.
I'm fortunate in that aspect that because I sit right in the middle, I'm right in Central Time
Okay.
Zone,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I'm kind of in that lucky spot, right? So when I stream at 7 or 8 o'clock, that's normally, a good time for Mountain and East Coast or Mountain and West Coast.
Right.
The bigger issue is that when you move over to East Coast, it gets a little bit late whenever you
Yeah.
start
It
streaming
does.
at, 9 o'clock, 9 or 8, 9, 10 o'clock, right?
Yep.
And the main problem that you find there is that you'll you'll lose a little bit of viewership,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, I don't think that it was enough for me to go, oh man, I really need to adjust my time to accommodate for the four viewers that I have over on East Coast time.
Right. Okay.
So for me, it's like I would rather focus on West Coast
Mm.
time,
Okay.
Mountain and West Coast time, and make sure that it's optimal for over there. And then looking at because you can look at the analytics to see
Right.
when your user base, your community is actually the most active.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it across all of your platforms, and then you can um, kind of curate your times for those. That way you can actually say, hey, maybe it's best if I start streaming at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, I have a little bit different, unique of a situation. I personally, I am a father of three and a
Yep.
husband of one because I don't need any more kids and I don't need any more wives. So
It's important.
I definitely don't need either one of those, any more of those.
Any more of them? Yes.
So for me, my schedule is this way because I want to spend time with the wife and the kids as
Right.
much as humanly possible. And then it's really just sacrificing a little bit of time for me and the wife 2 to 3 days a week.
Right.
So
Right.
she still gets me majority and the community gets me secondary. And
Right.
that's in me personally, that's how I structure it is that yes, the community comes second. And
Mm-hmm.
it always excuse me, it always will because my family is first. My personal family is first. The one that I am
Absolutely.
in, the one that I made. That is number one for me, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what. So that's why my times are the way that they are. I
Mm.
actually had to push back my time a little bit because I
Okay.
used to start streaming at 7:30 and then I pushed it back to 8 o'clock. And so and I had to push it back because I needed to do something for me,
Mm-hmm.
and that was exercising in the evenings
Gotcha.
right after I put the kids to bed. I exercise in the evenings for 30 to 45 minutes, and I get, I do my cardio or, weightlifting, depending on what day of the week it is. And that way that's time for me, right?
Right.
And that pushed too close into my stream, and I couldn't get prepared, and I was running late, and or I was feeling anxious about starting, so like just right off the gate, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I can't do that.
Yep.
Just push it back to 8 o'clock,
Right.
shorten up my stream time. That's okay. So that's why
Nice. Okay.
my schedule is the way that it
Okay.
is because family life, all that good jazz.
Absolutely. I mean, and I know that this is a definitely a subtopic as well, just a tip and trick of the trade. The more consistent that you are with the schedule that you've made for that secondary stream family that you have online, I mean that's gonna be more
It's
rewarding
paramount.
in the what's that?
It's paramount. Like the
Yes. Yeah.
schedule. eh, If I can give it advice to anybody
Mm-hmm.
that is wanting to start streaming, make a schedule
Yeah.
and stick to it
Yep.
as humanly as possible.
Yeah.
Yes, it is okay to run late every now and then, and it is okay to miss a stream every now and then. Life happens. We all get that, right?
Absolutely.
But if you can stick to that schedule, stick to your schedule like to the T. It's for two reasons,
Yeah.
right? People know when you're going to be live. So then they'll be like, okay, let me pencil in Bitsy time.
Absolutely.
ABC, ready, set, jet, right? And then they can go, okay, I know that I'm going to be able to catch this stream and not this stream. And I personally, for me, I think scarcity in streaming is a little bit better than saturation.
Mm.
That
Yep.
way, that way people are like, oh man, I can't miss a stream because he only streams 2 days a week or 3 days a week, right?
Yep.
When you have people, especially like the big streamers, you're not going to watch them every single day. Why would you need to? You can
You're
watch them
right.
tomorrow.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
And it's like if your favorite TV show came on every single day, are you going to watch that same TV show every single day, or are you going to be like, oh, it's okay, I'll just catch the next episode and then I can watch the last one twice,
Because it's
right?
something that's
Not a big
absolutely
deal.
reliable on day in, day out. I know exactly
Yeah.
when the times to catch them, and in a way they'll always be there, right? As long
Hmm.
as they have that dedication and set schedule.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
you led into a very very important topic as far as tips, tricks, and just overall like good advice for as streamers. And we are running close to the time that we need to be ending here. So, what would you say? I'm not going to give a number, but you mentioned consistency of schedule. Maybe 2, 3, tricks, tips of the trade that you have found with streaming. Because I mean the tips and tricks that's no matter what platform. As a content
Correct.
creator, like they're it's all pretty much synonymous. So, you mentioned schedule. Anything else that you could think of that that you have found? I always like asking people this question because there are so many creative people that do creative things with their day in and
Yes.
day out. So yeah.
The number one biggest thing that for me is audio.
Mm-hmm.
If I come to your stream and your audio sucks, I'm leaving your stream.
Yeah.
Like that's just point blank. And you don't have to have the same voice as me and Bitsy, right? You don't have to have the radio voice.
Right.
The voice itself doesn't necessarily matter. You don't need to be too loud so you're clipping and it sounds distorted and it sounds horrible, or the game's too loud or the music's too loud, or whatever the case, and you can't, and then it becomes overwhelming for the viewer. The audio is really king in the situation,
Mm.
and once you nail that down, and you can easily do it, you can easily check it by setting up your OBS,
Mm-hmm.
playing it, monitoring every single output,
Mm-hmm.
every single one. Put your headphones on. Don't use speakers because you can get reverb. But put your headphones on. See how it sounds in your head
Right.
when you are talking. watch your VODs.
Mm-hmm.
Another big one. Go back, watch your VODs. If you can watch your VODs and you were entertained by
Yeah.
yourself, then you are entertaining. If you go back and you're like, then you need to change something up in your entire situation, right?
Yep. Yep.
So what a lot of people tend to do is they get the tunnel vision, right?
Absolutely.
And they get the tunnel vision of just, oh, I'm just playing the game. I'm not doing anything else besides playing the game. Talk. I don't care what you talk to. I don't care who you talk to. I have this method that I personally use. I call it the rubber ducky method. If you have an inanimate object, I have gnomes down here. I have a little gnome village. Here's one, right?
Okay.
And I have three little gnomes down here. And
Uh-huh.
if I feel like I'm stumbling across, I'll kind of just talk to my gnomes, right? Even if chat's not engaging or anything like that, I'll just start like recanting my week, what happened in the week,
Mm-hmm.
what did I do, all of that good jazz. And then I'm not then the pressure isn't talking to all of everybody that's in chat. Then if chat starts engaging, great. Then it brings them into the conversation, and then bada boom, bada bing.
The
Ready, set,
switchover
go.
happens. You're talking to real people instead of gnomes. I
Correct.
love it.
Correct. So
That's actually a really unique idea. I've always said, I just start talking to yourself, start narrating from your perspective what you're doing. Oh, I need some
yes,
medium ammo, and oh, I'm playing Call of Duty, and oh, I need to catch this, this, that, the other thing. But it's really great. I love that perspective that there's a secondary. If chat's not chatting, I'm going to talk to something to make myself talk to some
yes.
objects. That's really unique, and I like that a lot.
And one thing that I've also found is that the big thing that will also drive whenever you're doing narration,
Mm-hmm.
because there is a streamer that I watch. His name is Free, and he is a Call of Duty streamer.
Mm-hmm.
Now he breaks it down, right? He's
Right.
breaking down his whole entire thought process of, hey, I need to move from A to B, and here's why I'm moving from A to B.
Mm.
And then it's more of a narration of his thought process just puking out, right?
Right. Right.
And then chat's like, oh man, how you got what, like, he's synonymously getting told that he's a hacker, right?
Right.
And but mainly because like people are predictable when it comes to first person shooters,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what people don't really realize is, hey, if you look at the patterns, because it really is just human patterns, and you look at the heat map of any Call of Duty heat map, you're going to see where people kind of like ebb and flow
Absolutely.
inside of this
Yeah.
this map, right? And so it's going to be like, oh man, so if I shoot this guy over here and I hear a little pop shot over there, then okay, maybe when I get done shooting this guy, I need to go and look over there
Yep.
and see what's
Yep.
going on. And it's just like simple things like that, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. All
And
intriguing
then of
stuff. I love
course,
that.
camera. So I go back and forth for cameras because you have VTubers, you have
Mm-hmm.
faceless people, and that's a camera isn't necessary,
Right.
honestly.
Right.
And when it really boils down to it, a camera is not necessary. Is it necessary to feel more personable? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it necessary to become a huge streamer? No.
Right.
No, not at
Right.
all.
I've seen many large streamers with no camera, but guess what? Their audio is absolutely on point, like you mentioned earlier. Absolutely impeccable. Yeah. And as you get to that point in time where if you choose to go, without a camera, and you might not only like accentuate your voice, you might really be good at entertaining audiences with the just with your like through your microphone and
That's
the
correct.
gameplay. And it's really intriguing to see that as well. We're down to the 15-minute mark. Chat, if you have any questions for us, please start thinking about those now as we start recapping here. Just start typing out some questions, inquiries,
Whatever you guys got,
whatever you
guys and
guys
gals
got.
got.
Yeah, we're an open book in the last 15 minutes of the session here. We'd like to take thoughts, comments, concerns, anything you guys want to talk about. Keep in mind that we've talked about a lot of different topics and like threads underneath the topic that we started with, but we wanted to get on here and give you guys the pros and cons to platform changes, to the positives, the negatives, the outcomes that we've seen, bringing our communities, switching our communities to said platforms, and if you have any, like, just any random questions, throw them at us.
Ooh, I love Hasaria's question here. Okay, thoughts on scheduling out things or
Mhm.
ideas to guide your live streams. So, yes, you want to, if you can schedule,
Mhm.
if your life permits a schedule,
Yep.
schedule,
Yes.
do that. If you can have structure inside of your live stream, you you want to do that for a lot of reasons.
Mhm.
For example, right now I'm currently going through a boss playthrough on Elden Ring. That is my schedule, and you'll notice on some of my streams I'm a little less organized on other streams.
Mhm.
Mainly because I didn't do the forefront work of saying, hey, I'm going to go to this boss, this boss, this boss, and this boss. Instead, I just kind of wing it, and it clearly shows in it, and you can clearly set markers inside of your streams to say, "Hey, even if it's an FPS,
Mhm.
I personally do think that you have lull times in between games.
Right.
Even like on ETF, you can definitely do that. Call of Duty, you have lull times between games as well. Every single first-person shooter, you will have a lull between games, and you can take that time, go to a different screen, or you can even stay on that same screen and then re-engage with your channel, or come up with like 3-minute stories that you could tell in
Mhm.
between the games,
Mhm.
or do something that is going to be entertaining for your audience, for
Mhm.
you and your niche and your audience,
Yep.
that will resonate with them.
Yep.
So doing an actual guide on it, 100%, I do believe is 100%
I
worth
know
it.
that I've been asked as well many times actually throughout the years of, do Bitsy, do you want to schedule certain games on different days, on certain days throughout the week? Monday is Call of Duty, Tuesday's EFT, so on and so forth. Me personally, I have always found that very constricting, even though that in some areas it proves to be very beneficial to people and content creators. It gives them the clarity, like, oh, today I just focus on one game and tomorrow I focus on just the next game. The biggest thing for me that I fall into is I don't feel like playing most of the time that scheduled game on that day. I mean, I've tried it several times throughout the years, and it's just, okay, Call of Duty Monday, okay, but I feel like playing EFT on Monday, and it's just like, it then changes the mood to something that's required of me and something that's forced rather than something that's natural. I mean, like you guys know,
Yes,
I've been playing through Warzone 1, and just for the past couple weeks, right, because it's ending in September, but I've been vibing with that more so, and my attitude and streaming mentality has improved so much more, playing that game than EFT right now. So if I was to
I
say
think
it's required one day, I don't know. It's too forced.
uh, I think if for me personally, I think if your style can go for it, 100%, right? If your style is, hey, I'm gonna play FPS, the genre. If you go genre, even, like, you don't have to necessarily say, hey, I'm gonna play X, right? Because some days you get into X and X makes you want to shoot your brains out
Right, right,
because it is horrible. They made an update or whatever the case is, and
right.
it's just garbage, right? So I do 100% agree with you on that. for some people, if you can,
Yeah.
it will help you. And
Right.
if it's something that is not in your wheelhouse to do, then
Right.
don't do it.
Yep.
Because the biggest thing is when it comes to, especially when it comes to live streaming, your immediate emotional response to playing
Yes.
a video game
Yep.
100% shows through, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if you are not having fun, even in the slightest, if you're not having fun, do not continue to play that game. Either end stream, go to just chatting, move to something else,
Absolutely.
or just say, hey, today I need a mental day and I'm really sorry, but I gotta go,
Yep.
and that's, if your community is going to understand, because you and I both want to put out content, both in live streaming and externally,
Hmm.
that is going to be better than just meh. And
Right.
especially if you can see it you can see it in some of the big streamers where they had to grind that game, and like they were literally just like to get over the keyboard over the day
Oh,
and
it's
just like,
terrible. Yeah. It's absolutely terrible.
another day of Call of Duty. Well,
And
here
you
we
see the
go
depression
again.
in their eyes, you know?
Yeah, it's just literally, you could see that they absolutely are hating their life at that
Yep.
moment.
Yep. I want to address DMC's comment real quick.
Yes.
How often, if at all, are you cutting your streams into long form content on YouTube, or are all cuts turned into only short form content? So that's a really good question. As of right now, all of these VODs are going to be just all this raw footage. This 1 hour is going to be posted on YouTube. Just you know, boom, boom, uploaded, no cuts, no edits. However, I do have opportunities to cut up the content and actually have these 1 hour segments of the podcast cut up in post production, and I've had people reach out and say, hey, I want to like start actually putting some post production to your videos. Whether that is, I think the short form clip content is going to be mainly done through me. I go back and clip, and I have vertical OBS set up, and that's easy enough to do. However, as far as like the Crawler Theory podcast, that's just going to be 100% raw footage. Every episode for now posted into YouTube. I'm also going to have the transparency to share and download the video files with my guests as well. So here in the next few days, I'll be sharing the file with Killa, and that way he could make content and highlights and whatever he wants to do with the this VOD as well. So it's kind of broadening the horizons of not just capitalizing on one streamer. I want to, he's part of this too. So the episode that he's part of, I'm going to give the file to, and that way he could make short form content as well.
That's one thing that in the beginning that I really struggled with. I'm not gonna lie. Making content from my live streams was really difficult for me to understand. Hey, I don't know. I don't know like what we need to do to, like, where's the clippable, the clippable scenes, right?
Right, right.
Finding that in your stream, especially when you're starting out, and if you really want to get down to live streaming, you got to really have a purpose of live streaming. So, and I mean that as in, are you live streaming to live stream for an audience? Are you live
Mm-hmm.
streaming for discoverability? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you trying to do with your live streams?
Right.
Because in all actuality, now is a time for content is king.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if you can start making content, if you just record some gameplay and start making content with it,
Right.
or even have reactions of your own gameplay, and then you start building a community externally from these sites, these streaming sites,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a better success of transferring people over
Right.
to the streaming sites, because you're going to have the community. And I know several other streamers, I shouldn't they're content creators, they're not streamers, but content creators that are very large, and
Mm-hmm.
they only stream 6 to 10 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's all they stream all year long. But they're
Right.
pulling in, 40, 50, 60,000 people per stream because the scarcity of that stream, right?
Yep.
And they
Yep.
also built a community on a social media platform. So, when you got 2 million, 3 million members or subscribers on YouTube and you only stream, once a month,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to want to come view that once a month stream and go,
Absolutely.
holy shit, what I got to
Absolutely.
see this and I got to see this live in action.
Mm-hmm. And
And
I
then
mean, that's a
they
really
will
good
flock to it.
really good point as well, because I've been on that side of things where I've delved into streaming such full-time, like surpassing full-time hours, where I was just live 6 days out of the week, like 12, 13 hour days, go 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 go. And
Oh yeah.
honestly, looking back, and I knew it in the moment as well, like a couple weeks following that consistent schedule, if you want to call it, it was actually more detrimental because it was so oversaturated from my content. I felt like my community was sick of seeing me. So, and it was just like, oh my God, there's an oversaturation of Bitsy. Like, I'm not going to show up today, whatever. And I saw my numbers drop, right? And it's until I took those couple days away and I said, you know what,
Yeah.
3 days a week, all of a sudden people are like, oh, Bitsy's stream is actually more scarce now. Whoa, I got to pay attention here. I want to
Yep.
catch him when he's live now, right? So it's this expectant nature of the ebbs and flows of does how much does your community miss you, like, because that's actually a real thing that people don't talk about, but or you could oversaturate your channel and little niche that you got going on there, and it could be detrimental in the long run for you as well. So less is
Very much
more.
so.
Less is more. A lot of the times that you'll find. So
With live streaming,
with a
more is
live,
more with
yeah,
content.
there you go. Yes, thank you for that. That's very important.
Yes.
As Erica says, side note, guest star is really cool with the smaller icon for Smithkiller's hovering icon. Yes, so the name in the bottom left, it's great. It's fantastic.
Well, not only that, but if you look over on the sidebar, the actual sidebar,
Hmm.
right, like embossed over the top of yours is like my little emblem. So it's like little tiny, you big, me little tiny, underneath
Oh,
of it.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Are you talking in the channel, the stream title as well? Because in
uh,
the stream title, I love that it's Itsy
that's
Bitsy 30
correct.
with Smith Kill. I love
Yeah,
that. I
I
love
love
that.
that.
So I love that they also include your actual tag, like in the bottom left of your
And
camera.
this is the few things that, like, that's what frustrates me about Kick too, right? It's like it's little tiny things, right? Just like
Mm-hmm.
this, right? Just like Hysteria pointed out, hey, it's Itsy Bitsy with Smith Killa. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can just directly click on my name and it'll take you
Absolutely.
right over to my
Yeah.
page in another tab.
I do have to say, some of these refinements are things that keep people on Twitch. These are
Yeah,
quality of life
100%.
improvements, and Twitch has 20, 21 years in the business, right? They, even though
Correct.
they have made decisions that are truly detrimental to creators, they still have quality of life, little bits and pieces that are just really, really accentuate the creator's life and everything. Um, the
Ooh,
DMC
best
says,
live streaming moment. Let's. I gotta hear this one from. I gotta hear this one from Bitsy. What is Bitsy's best live streaming moment thus far?
um,
On the spot. Put you on the spot right now.
yeah, that's very unfair. I mean, I would probably say like there's a few. The top two that I'm thinking of are pretty much synonymous. Um, eh, oh man, best live stream moment. I mean, honestly, being rated twice by um I'm gonna blank on his name now.
Symphony.
Symphony. Thank you. Because Killa read my mind magically, and he's amazing. This is why we have him on the show, folks. But yes, being rated by Symphony twice is probably some of the all-time highs that I've ever felt. Live stream moment that I've ever felt. There's been a lot of other moments. I mean, there's been practical needs that my community has come through. Mainly speaking, this wonderful air conditioning unit that is sitting in my office. I straight up said, "Hey, I need to make this a goal of mine." Put up the goal in chat, and I mean, within a few short weeks, I'm talking few, boom, I mean, chat, like my community made it happen and everything, and the feeling of gratitude, just a humbling, like mental state that I was in. I was truly in shock. It's just moments like that that are just, was it like my top most showy, whatever? No, that's where Symphony's raids come in. As far as like heartfelt mentality of holy smokes, there's people that truly do support me in my job here. That's probably, definitely up there. I'm sure there's tons more, but our time is limited for the episode here. But yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Killa, do you have one in your mind for you?
Um, I mean, I think the biggest moment that I've had thus far is probably probably whenever I moved over to right before I became affiliate status on Kick. There was, I guess, a group of people that came through that were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and like all the whole entire group came through and followed me up, which was super cool and super
Dang.
awesome. And then, of course, it's just I think my biggest moment really is not necessarily in streaming, because my community is wonderful and they're fantastic. I think it's building the friendships outside of streaming that has really drove home for me,
Mm-hmm.
and having those new friendships that are blossoming into well-known creators
Right.
starting to recognize you and I and follow us as individuals on social media platforms. And it's just it's really like hitting home, and it makes me feel like, man, maybe what I'm doing is actually working. Maybe it's
Right.
actually beneficial. Maybe
Right.
people actually do like us,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we can talk about in a different. We're
Absolutely.
running out of time, but that's
Yeah.
something that we could definitely dive into at a later date.
Absolutely. There's a I'm not crying, you're crying, DMC says. That is definitely a topic for another time. I would love to continue that sometime. Because I mean, my community well knows that I get very sentimental very quick, and things go downhill very quick. I never cry on stream. What? But anyway, thank you all for joining the this episode 2 of a Crawler Theory podcast. I'm gonna give Smith Killa a chance to plug his stream. I think I already
Yes.
know, but go for it. Social media stream schedule one more last time, and then
You can find me over on kick.com, Smith Killa, just as my name is here. You can find me on the rest of the social media platforms, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. You can find me all there, all with the same name. I'm easy to find. Come find me up whenever you guys, if you guys ever want to find more of this sensual little voice that I have here for you. As
yes.
always, I love y'all. Much love. And Bitsy, thank you so much for having me on. It was a great blessing to have me on. And I really do appreciate it. I'm down to do this some more. Anytime that you wanna chat it up, even if it's off stream,
Hmm.
off the couch, as we could say.
Indeed,
I'm
indeed.
I'm definitely available, brother. So, and
I
that goes for the
appreciate it.
rest of your community too. If anybody needs anything, I'm always here for you guys. So much love.
Kill out. All right, appreciate it. I would highly recommend going checking out his content. I've hung out a bit in Killer's stream. Very wholesome, very awesome, professional audio, as you guys could tell. I very just great person in general. Like I said, thank you for joining episode 2. Episode 3, I'm going to be planning in the next 2 weeks. I want to do continue the schedule. It was a little skewed this past month here. This next month, I am going to be moving around as well, so it might be a little skewed going forward for the next month. But I want to stick to the schedule of doing a bi-weekly episode of the Scrawler Theory podcast. So stay tuned for that. Exclamation socials in the chat. Hysterica is already on it. Go follow my Discord and Twitter. Those are the 2 main places that I post all the updates to the stream and community news and all that good stuff. So these episodes for the time being are going to be recorded here on Twitch. I think the system is really working out well with the guest star feature. However, I do mainly stream on kick.com/itsybitsy30. I want to do a huge shout out to Hysterica. She's been modding for this whole episode, and much love. Appreciate you as always. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon for a great episode of Stream. Until next time, take care, everyone.